1. Arrival. A sleek silhouette emerges from the darkness. Its presence is deliberate. Its form, refined. Before anything is said, before a single line is spoken, the shape alone tells you this is no ordinary electric SUV. This is a statement. A shift. A declaration. This is the Xiaomi YU7. You don't just see it, you feel it. That coupe-inspired profile, gently sloping from the roof to the tail, stretching across nearly 5 meters of calculated form. Longer than a Tesla Model Y, wider. Lower. Yet every proportion feels natural. Balanced. Intentional. Like it was never designed, it was discovered. Sculpted by purpose, not preference. No exaggeration. No gimmicks. The YU7 arrives with restraint, and in that restraint, you find confidence. It doesn't scream for attention. It pulls your gaze through curiosity, through presence, through the weight of its silhouette and the tension in its lines. Up front, a flush face. No grill. No aggression. Just clarity. A clean, aerodynamic surface flows effortlessly, intersected only by thin, blade-like LED strips that glance across the front like eyes narrowed in focus. There's no overdesign here, just vision. The lower intake is subtle, functional. The corners taper inward, guiding airflow with intelligence. Around the sides, a sense of motion even at standstill. The belt line rises ever so slightly toward the rear, pushing the whole body forward as if in mid-stride. The door handles? Hidden. The panel gaps? Virtually invisible. The surfaces, smooth, sculpted, almost liquid under light. Not reflective in the conventional sense, but suggestive, responding to angles, to shadows, to motion around it. And then there are the wheels. 21-inch turbines wrapped in low-profile rubber. Not just styled to look fast, but engineered for efficiency, for cooling, for silence. The wheel wells are tight, hugged close to the tires, emphasizing that planted, grounded feel, almost sports car low, yet unmistakably SUV in stature. The rear, too, refuses to overplay its role. A continuous LED light bar spans across the tailgate, cleanly integrated beneath the lip of the rear glass. It doesn't blink or pulse, it glows. Constant. Controlled. A signature. And just beneath, a sculpted bumper. Not bulky. Not heavy. But deliberate in its proportions, framing the rear diffuser with a whisper of performance. And still, not a badge in sight. Not at first glance. Because the YU7 isn't trying to be known. It's trying to be remembered. Look closer and the finer details begin to emerge. The camera modules, flush-mounted at the corners. The LiDAR puck, subtly integrated into the roofline, functional, futuristic, but never loud. Xiaomi's vision here is clear, form follows function, and then exceeds it. There's no separation between design and purpose. And yet, it's not sterile. Not overly technical. There's emotion in its presence. There's that quiet sense of new. Not just new in model year, but new in thinking. In philosophy. It doesn't borrow from others. It doesn't echo luxury cues for the sake of appearing premium. It simply redefines what premium means in this new electric chapter. Because this isn't Xiaomi's first foray into technology. It's just their first on 4 wheels. And they come armed with decades of design experience, interface fluency, and ecosystem synergy. You feel all of it here, even before you touch the door handle. Every curve speaks a different language. A blend of aerodynamics, performance, and elegance. It's sleek, but never soft. Bold, but never brash. There's Ferrari influence in the rake. There's Audi in the restraint. There's Lucid in the glasswork. Yet, it never feels copied. It feels distilled, like all the best parts of modern design extracted and recomposed into something unmistakably Xiaomi. Step back, and take it all in. The stance, low and wide, gives it a sense of latent energy. Like a sprinter in the blocks. Like a predator crouched before a leap. You can almost hear the silence of its power. Almost feel the potential waiting beneath the surface. Even the lighting plays a role in the drama. It doesn't flash to life, it stages itself. A pulse. A flicker. Then a slow, ambient bloom from the headlamps, like the system itself is waking up. Not just a car turning on, but a character revealing itself. This is not a machine waiting for instruction. It's an entity coming alive. And yet, none of it feels forced. That's the most surprising part. The Xiaomi YU7 doesn't need to try hard. It just is. Because when design, engineering, and intent align, you don't need volume. You need precision. There's a reason the automotive world stopped and took notice. This wasn't just another EV launch. This was a signal, a line in the sand. The moment when Xiaomi told the world, we're not here to participate. We're here to define. And it's not just about lines, lights, or logos. It's about presence. The YU7 has it in spades. From the first glimpse at dusk to the final detail in daylight, you feel it. The gravity. The clarity. This isn't a car that needs to grow on you. It's a car that shows up complete. Whole. Unapologetic. 2. Inside the future. You don't just open the door. You enter a different space. One that doesn't try to imitate a living room, a cockpit, or a lounge. It becomes all of those, without claiming any. This is not nostalgia on wheels. It's the future imagined and then made physical. The cabin of the Xiaomi YU7 doesn't overwhelm. It welcomes. With serenity. With intelligence. With intention. As the door swings open, automated if you choose, the cabin breathes awake. Soft ambient light pulses gently from under the dashboard, along the doors, even from the floating center console. It's not just mood lighting. It's environmental awareness. It adapts to your time of day, your schedule, your mood. You step in, and you feel the shift. The floor is low, almost flush. A benefit of the EV skateboard platform. The seats? They don't just greet you, they cradle you. Sculpted, ergonomic, finished in Napa leather with Alcantara inlays. You slide into the flat-bottom driver's seat and realize, this doesn't feel like a car seat. It feels like you've just taken command of a personal capsule. Minimalism reigns, but not emptiness. The surfaces are layered, soft-touch materials across every tactile zone. The dashboard flows in waves, cleanly integrated, zero clutter. There are no protruding buttons. No vents screaming for attention. Even the HVAC system is invisible, its outputs hidden in a slim cutout that stretches across the dash like a design line. Yet it works, efficiently, silently, perfectly. Ahead of you, there's no traditional instrument cluster. No rounded bezels. No analog remnants. Instead, something new, something radical. It's called HyperVision. 3 mini-LED panels that form a seamless panoramic display, embedded behind the glass of the windscreen. From edge to edge, 1.1 meters of vivid, detailed, ultra-bright information. But it doesn't feel like a screen. It feels like a second horizon. A digital extension of your field of vision. On the left, your drive metrics, speed, battery state of charge, range estimation. At center, navigation overlays, lane positioning, traffic prompts. And to the right, media, call info, vehicle status. It's all there, but never distracting. The transparency. The layering. The prioritization. It's like Xiaomi took the UI logic of their smartphones, applied it to spatial awareness, and removed everything unnecessary. And yet, the magic isn't just what you see. It's what you don't have to touch. The steering wheel, a sculpted D-shape with integrated touchpads and haptic triggers. It's not about menus. It's about gestures. A swipe to change tracks. A tap to activate voice. A pressure-sensitive zone that adjusts volume or toggles regenerative braking strength. Once you learn it, it becomes second nature, because it was designed around human logic. In the center console, you don't find a shifter. Instead, there's a floating bridge finished in brushed aluminum, housing dual wireless charging pads with active cooling. You place your phone down, and it not only charges, it syncs. The car recognizes your Xiaomi ID, adjusts your seat, your mirrors, your climate presets, even your preferred color temperature for cabin lighting. There's no start button. No mechanical ignition. Just a presence sensor. Once you're seated, the YU7 activates. You don't start it. You arrive, and it responds. And then the silence. Not just the absence of engine noise, but true acoustic design. The windows are double-glazed. The door seals are multi-layered. The tires use foam dampening. And active noise cancellation is always running, monitoring road texture, wind patterns, and countering unwanted sound before you hear it. Conversations are clear. Music is studio-grade. Phone calls are crisp. Silence isn't just luxury, it's performance. Look up. The panoramic glass roof isn't just big, it's breathtaking. With electrochromic shading, it can dim on command or react to UV intensity. Daylight pours in when you want it. Privacy returns when you need it. It's like having the sky on a dimmer switch. Rear passengers aren't forgotten. Heated, cooled, and massaging seats await. USB-C and USB-A ports, even wireless pads embedded in the doors. Fold-down digital tablets give access to entertainment, climate, navigation mirroring, and more. And every sound, every vibration, is tuned through a 21-speaker immersive sound system powered by Xiaomi's proprietary DSP algorithms. Storage? It's everywhere, hidden, modular, yet accessible. The center console slides open with soft resistance, revealing deep bays and customizable inserts. The underfloor rear trunk compartment can be chilled or heated depending on your grocery list. Every part of the interior feels like it was designed after someone actually lived in it. The materials don't fake luxury, they redefine it. No chrome here. No wood veneers pretending to be classy. Instead, micro-textured aluminum, sustainable bioleathers, premium soft weaves that respond to light like sculpture. Every contact point is considered. Every seam aligned. Xiaomi didn't fill space, they elevated it. The HVAC system isn't just silent. It's smart. Monitors temperature, humidity, even air quality, filtering PM 2.5 particles automatically. Ionizers freshen the air while sensors track pollen counts and adjust flow rates based on your respiratory patterns over time. Yes, it learns how you breathe. And yes, it adjusts. And then the voice assistant. Not gimmicky. Not passive. It's fluent. Adaptive. Contextual. You speak, naturally, and it acts. Not just turn on AC. But make it a bit cooler, and it knows your preference is 21.5 degrees Celsius with light airflow. It isn't there to be clever. It's there to be useful. And it always is. Even the smell, yes, the scent of the cabin, is curated. Xiaomi's optional aroma system offers programmable fragrance cartridges that release gentle notes of sandalwood, citrus, or lavender, depending on your drive mode, time of day, or calendar events. Imagine your car smelling differently for a date night than it does during a Monday morning commute. It's not fantasy. It's firmware. This is not just a cabin. It's an interface. A space designed not to isolate you from the world, but to prepare you for it. Because in the YU7, luxury isn't about excess. It's about precision. It's about how quickly the car disappears, how fast the technology becomes invisible, how naturally you move from thought to action, from need to satisfaction. You don't feel like you're in a car. You feel like you're in a beautifully silent conversation, with something that already knows you and is happy you showed up. 3. Digital core. Beneath the sculpted elegance and luxurious serenity lies a beating digital heart. Quiet, unseen, but impossibly powerful. The Xiaomi YU7 doesn't just drive. It computes. It anticipates. It evolves. Everything you've felt so far, the way it wakes, listens, responds, that's not just design. That's digital architecture taken to its limit. At the center of it all, Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. A name more often found in phones, now reimagined for the road. But don't let its mobile roots fool you. In the YU7, Snapdragon isn't managing apps. It's orchestrating an ecosystem. Boot times of 1.35 seconds. Interface responsiveness measured in microseconds. This isn't a car that buffers. This is instantaneous intention. The moment you sit, the system wakes. Not just lights or displays, but everything. From ambient temperature tuning to seat memory, gesture recognition to personal profiles, it all comes online without hesitation. You don't wait for the car. It's already ahead of you. At its core, this is HyperOS, Xiaomi's own operating system, no longer just powering smart homes or phones, but now scaling across your mobility universe. It doesn't mimic other car UIs. It reinvents the idea of digital presence in motion. Navigation isn't flat, it's spatial. Maps curve with your field of view across the head-up display. Traffic density is color-coded not just in red and green, but with dynamic animations showing density change in real time. Parking suggestions appear as you approach your destination, complete with availability, pricing, and even walking distance to your saved calendar location. Your phone? Not mirrored. Not cast. It becomes the key. The profile. The extension of your commands. Whether it's Xiaomi, Apple, or Android, your device syncs at a system level. Your playlists resume where you left off. Your favorite podcasts continue from the moment you stepped out. And if you left a reminder or note on your phone, it shows up on the center display as a contextual notification, ready when you need it, not shouting for attention, but waiting quietly. OTA updates come frequently, but not intrusively. Scheduled by your sleep cycles. Downloaded silently. Installed when idle. You wake up, and the car is better than the day before. Faster. Sharper. More intuitive. Xiaomi doesn't see the YU7 as a product, it sees it as a platform. A canvas. An evolving organism. And this ecosystem is rich. The system isn't just running itself, it's learning you. Over days, weeks, months. It learns how warm you like the cabin at night versus morning. It notices if you switch to silent drive mode when you're on a call. It adjusts ambient light levels based on your time of day and even your calendar tags. Soft golden tones for meditation time, cooler whites for commute, dim violets for date night. It learns how long your kids nap in the rear seats. It knows you like low-fi music after 8 p.m. It knows which charging stations you prefer, which ones are faster, which ones offer cafes inside. And beyond that, it protects you. Security isn't an afterthought. It's encrypted, biometrically locked, and cloud resilient. The car recognizes your face, not just to unlock, but to personalize. Your seat, steering, climate, media, and even your preferred navigation voice shift instantly with your presence. This isn't recognition. It's trust. And with trust comes intelligence. Imagine this, you pull into your garage. The system knows it's your home. It links with your smart lighting. It dims the cabin. Opens your garage door. Turns on your hallway lights. Even disarms the alarm if it sees your ID. Not connected. Synchronized. You reverse out in the morning, and the system already knows the temperature, traffic, and whether there's construction on your route. It suggests leaving 5 minutes earlier. It syncs with your calendar, alerts you if your 9 a.m. meeting is now virtual instead of in person. It even shifts cabin lighting to soft blues, meant to improve focus and suppress fatigue. And the display, the way it transitions, is buttery smooth. Zero lag. Zero drop frames. Swipe from left to right, and the entire cabin responds in harmony. Not just the display, but the lighting, the sound profile, even the seat vibration patterns, used not for alerts, but to subtly notify without noise. It's not just fast. It's immersive. And all of it, every screen, every touchpoint, every system, is rendered in Xiaomi's own visual language. Not the flat, 2D tiles we're used to, but motion-designed elements. Cards that tilt subtly with input. Fonts that animate fluidly. A UI that doesn't just respond, it reacts with purpose. This is more than just a digital cockpit. It's the birth of intuitive mobility. Where AI doesn't replace you, it supports you. Where the car doesn't distract, it augments. Even gaming, yes, gaming, is possible. Not arcade gimmicks. But full app support from Xiaomi's game store. Kids in the rear can stream cloud games on headrest displays with zero latency. Paired controllers. Voice chat. Spatial audio. All of it real. All of it now. And of course, there's voice. But not a robotic, tinny, one-size-fits-all voice. This is AI-assisted, conversational, multilanguage fluent interaction. Say, "I'm too cold," and it raises temperature without asking for a setting. Say, "Play something relaxing," and it starts a curated playlist. Say, "Take me home," and it routes, calibrates your range, and pings your smart home to start warming your living room. Because in this machine, the digital core isn't beneath the surface. It's the soul. Snapdragon brings the power. HyperOS brings the logic. You bring the intent. And the YU7 makes it real. This isn't a dashboard. This is a command center. 4. The drive. You press the pedal. Not hard. Not aggressive. Just a gentle whisper of movement. And suddenly, everything changes. This isn't motion. It's translation of intent into momentum, silence into force. The Xiaomi YU7 doesn't take off. It vanishes. Not violently. Not with drama. With control. With precision. With presence. At rest, it's silent, almost unnervingly so. No idle hum. No vibration. Just anticipation, curled like a spring behind every molecular detail of its chassis. And then it responds. In the Max AWD variant, 681 horsepower pours out in perfect synchronization. That's not just power. That's orchestration. Torque distribution across front and rear, reacting in milliseconds, adapting to road conditions before your foot even finishes its movement. 866 Nm of torque, tuned not to spin tires, but to rewrite time. 0 to 100 km/h in 3.23 seconds. You don't feel a launch. You feel a dimension shift. Acceleration isn't linear, it's elastic. You are pulled forward, not pushed. Gravity doesn't increase. It disappears. But performance, here, is more than numbers. It's texture. The air suspension, electronically adaptive, height adjustable, carries 2.5 tons as if it were feathers on silk. It breathes with the road. On rough patches, it softens. On sweeping bends, it firms. It never needs your input. It never seeks your validation. It knows. And the ride? Floaty? Never. This is not isolation for comfort's sake. This is composure born from calibration. The body rolls just enough to remind you it's real, and then it stops, locked, leveled, planted. Steering is electric. But not numb. Not vague. It's alive, tightening at speed, loosening in parking, offering feedback without chatter. It's not trying to be a sports car. But it doesn't forget the road. It writes poetry over asphalt. There are 3 powertrains. Each with its own personality. The RWD variant? Smooth. Graceful. Linear. A single motor with 96.3 kWh of LFP battery, offering over 800 km of range in CLTC metrics. Rear bias gives it that perfect tail drift potential if you push, but on daily drives, it's composed. Elegant. Step up to the Pro AWD, and dual motors enter the picture. More grip. More balance. More confidence. Around 770 km of CLTC range. Still LFP chemistry, durable, long-lasting, safe. And then, there's the Max. With its 101.7 kWh NMC pack, tuned for high energy density. Lower real-world degradation. Slightly less range, 760 km CLTC, but paired with sheer performance. This is the one that turns mountain switchbacks into memory lanes. That redefines what electric can feel like. But this story isn't just about specs. It's about how the YU7 makes you feel when you drive it. Because beyond the motors, beyond the architecture, there's character. The way the chassis rotates in corners. The way reg-and braking isn't harsh, but intuitive. You lift off the throttle, and it slows just enough. Not jerky. Not artificial. Just right. Switch drive modes, from eco to comfort to sport to custom, and it's like driving 4 different philosophies. In sport, throttle sharpens. Suspension lowers. Steering stiffens. Even the ambient lighting pulses with red intensity. In eco, it all quiets down. Focuses on range. Glides like a breeze. In comfort, it disappears, becoming so smooth, so invisible, it feels like you're being chauffeured by air itself. But don't forget, this is a nearly 5-meter SUV. And yet, it dances. The rear-wheel steering, subtle but profound, shortens turning radius at low speeds, stabilizes at high speeds. U-turns become ballet. Lane changes become instinct. Brake feel? Regenerative and mechanical systems blended seamlessly. No artificial bite. No grabby response. Just pressure, confidence, trust, and traction? It never flinches. Rain, sand, ice. It learns. Constantly. Grip isn't managed, it's predicted. Because Xiaomi didn't just build a drivetrain. It built a brain to go with it. Torque vectoring. Predictive stability control. Dynamic slip management. You don't have to know the terms. The car knows the physics. And then there's the silence. The kind that doesn't just come from the absence of an engine, but from the presence of acoustic engineering. The sound deadening. The LED glass. The tire design. Even the motor mounts, floating, isolated, decoupled. You could whisper at 120 km per hour and be heard perfectly. But when you want it, there's sound. Artificial? No. Orchestral. A curated soundscape, optional, programmable, lets you add subtle performance tones synced with throttle input. Want turbine-like hum? Deep resonance? Synthetic V8 rhythm? It's yours. Or turn it all off and drive in a world where your heartbeat is the loudest sound you hear. Because the YU7 doesn't scream. It doesn't growl. It glides. It focuses. It moves with intention, not aggression. And yet, you're never bored. Because every corner is feedback. Every straight is an opportunity. Every stop is a breath. This isn't just fun to drive. This is emotionally calibrated. Even in autopilot, it feels engaged. It doesn't take over. It partners. Driver assistance isn't just safety. It's balance. Adaptive cruise control that feels human. Lane keeping that doesn't bounce. A system that supports, not replaces. And as you pull into your destination, the regenerative system reads your deceleration. It slows with the grace of a manual driver. It knows when you're about to park. When you're coasting. When you're done. You arrive. The YU7 doesn't switch off. It powers down with dignity. Like a performer walking offstage. The drive is over. But you're not the same. And that's when you realize this wasn't about driving electric. It was about experiencing control in its purest, most silent form. Step back. Take a breath. Look at the Xiaomi YU7 once more, not as a machine, but as a message. A signal. A symbol of something larger than horsepower or hardware. Because what you've just witnessed isn't just the arrival of a new electric SUV. It's the arrival of a new era. Xiaomi didn't just build a vehicle. They reimagined the experience. From its sculpted silhouette that slips through air like a whisper, to the interior that cocoons you in silence and sensory sophistication. From the instant-on intelligence that responds before you even finish a gesture, to the razor-edge driving dynamics that blur the line between control and connection. Every line, every surface, every algorithm, it serves a single purpose: to dissolve the boundary between man and machine. It's not trying to be a Tesla clone. Not mimicking Mercedes. Not chasing BMW. The YU7 is Xiaomi. In motion. In metal. In mastery. It speaks a design language that's fluent in restraint, where beauty isn't bold for the sake of it, but earned. It wears power not as decoration, but as essence. Underneath the silent shell, 681 horses lie dormant, waiting not to shout, but to surge with discipline. Controlled. Precision engineered. Ready. And yet, it's never intimidating. Because power is nothing without grace. The YU7 floats over imperfections, yet carves corners with confidence. It isolates, then connects. It listens, then leads. Its cabin? A cathedral of calm. A studio of expression. A digital sanctuary where every pixel serves clarity, every material serves comfort, and every scent, sound, and shaft of light has been placed with care. Here, you don't escape the outside world. You transcend it. And in its veins runs code, not just electricity. Snapdragon. HyperOS. NVIDIA Thor-U LiDAR. AI perception. Autonomy that doesn't seek control, but companionship. Sensors that don't distract, but protect. Intelligence that earns trust, not attention. And range? It redefines what's possible. 800 plus kilometers of reach on a single charge. Replenishment in minutes, not hours. Charging anxiety? Dissolved. Every spec, every metric, rooted in realism, but dressed in ambition. Because this is not a prototype. Not a promise. This is production. Deliveries have started. The revolution isn't coming, it's here. Rolling silently down streets, gliding through cities, stretching across highways, quietly reminding the industry, there's a new contender in the room. Not from Germany. Not from Detroit. From Shenzhen. From Xiaomi. A company known for smartphones. Now building smart dreams on wheels. This changes everything. Competition? It's been awakened. Expectations? Recalibrated. Electric mobility? Refined. Luxury? Redefined. Technology? Humanized. And what about you? You've just seen what the future looks like today. You've seen what happens when ambition meets execution. When software meets soul. When a brand dares not to follow, but to lead. So ask yourself, what do you want from your next car? Speed? It has it. Comfort? It lives in it. Technology? It is it. Design? Sculpted. Mature. Magnetic. Efficiency? Proven. Safety? Unseen, but always present. The Xiaomi YU7 isn't trying to be the best electric SUV. It's trying to be the best version of what a car can feel like. And for the first time in a long time, a vehicle has come along that doesn't just tick boxes, it tears the page, rewrites it, and hands it to you with confidence. Not with hype, but with proof. And now, this is your moment. Will you just admire the future from the outside? Or will you open the door and drive into it?